Evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 49 of Basement Quality Banter. Welcoming Caesar along and also Jacob Veal from Blind Boy Brewing. Unfortunately, our chief talking guy, Luke, has done a run into Newcastle. Lord knows what he's gone to Newcastle for or why. I didn't ask him. So let's push on. What beers do we have, gentlemen?
Well, of course, I'm drinking my Blind Boy Brewing beers, straight from the brewery. So, yeah, drinking the Easy Access Session Pale.
Yes.
That's funny. I know a friend of mine that may have gone there this afternoon and may have also gotten one of the easy access. So I
Yeah,
have that tonight.
that's
So
very good.
yes.
And I'm actually having your lime sour. I had one of the sessions with pizza for dinner. It
Oh,
was really
nice.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I,
perfect.
I really like that little kick at the end on the back of the palate with that beer. It's just a little bit different to other session ales where it's kind of a little bit of flavor and that's it. There's just
Mm.
a little bit of kick at the end. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a good one. It's really refreshing, so goes well.
Fantastic.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's
So how
great.
much?
We're all drinking Blind Boy Brewing beers. So cheers to
Yeah.
that.
It's
Yeah,
only fair.
cheers.
It's only fair. Cheers.
Yeah, yeah, cheers.
How much lime did you put in this? It's got quite a hit. I really like it
Mm.
actually.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely for people who love limes, that's for sure, because it definitely has that kick right there of it. Yeah, it's a high dosage. When we started brewing it under my house situation, it was a lot higher. And as we've become more and more commercial, we have backed down a bit more and more, but it still has a massive kick, which I always wanted to have a massive kick. That's really important. But yeah, it's a lesser of a kick than it used to be.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, us home brewers like to dial things up to 11.
Yeah, that's
Idiots.
about, yeah, that's about
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah.
All right, so
Mm.
Jacob, so you're from Blind Boy Brewing.
Hmm.
You were the joint winner this year for the Royal Queensland Beer Awards Emerging Brewer,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
having read your story, you're doing some really interesting things in the brewing space. Do you want to give us a bit of a background on who Blind Boy Brewing is, why,
Yeah.
when,
Okay.
how?
Yep. Yep. Sure. Can do. Yeah. So basically, Blind Boy Brewing started out as a brand maybe 5 years ago. Um, Prior to that, it was just basically me as a home brewer, um, being able to struggling to find employment. I focused on my hobby and just focused on it really hard and got quite deep into it from the very beginning when I got my first plastic fermenter from my dad and just doing Cooper's kits and then building it up from there and then joining Babs, which is the Brisbane Amateur Brewers Club, and that was really good too. So got some awesome stepping stones there. And then when the Queensland TAFE course came available, I was like part of the second group that was a part of the first couple that came out. Got the TAFE course, got some really good experience working with Hendo there. It was really good to get like certain questions that I could never answer on my own. And obviously being a home brewer, trying to learn on my own, and over 10 years ago, before a lot of easy to watch YouTube stuff, it was books, and myself being legally blind and visually impaired, it's really hard to read books. So I love brewing so much that I found ways, and I have this digital zoomed up screen that I read books with. But yeah, kind of that type of journey. And then getting into traveling the world, going to all the special beer countries, like America, like the United States, like Belgium and Germany. Yeah, then just kept on brewing, and then it got to a point where I wanted to implement those skills that I learnt throughout that process, and um, I attempted to apply for work in the industry. It was quite hard to convince a business owner to hire someone who's legally blind. I understand that. I was quite dedicated, and I kept them trying, kept them getting knocked back. But then it ended up being, well, that just fueled my fire to go, right, I'm just going to do it myself, and ended up setting up a brewery under my house, and that was great times. You know, we invited my mates, invited them, they invited their mates, and we had a really good thing with events and bands playing, and built up the brand that way. So very grassroots DIY style, and always keeping a lookout for maybe how can I make this dream come true. You know, it's very expensive to have your own brewery and rent and everything, as you know and can imagine. And then this Food Connect shed came about upon me, and Food Connect is a big shed in Salisbury, and it's basically like you could say an incubator for small businesses that are really food orientated. So we're in a big shed. There's all different sections, and there's like an artisan French pie maker. There's a bread maker. There's someone who cracks grain and uses that and cracks native grain and uses that into flour. There's a hot sauce guy. There's Egyptian falafel by Tamaya. Yeah, all sorts of different businesses are in this shed. So I was like, I would love to be a part of this. This is the stepping stone I need. And a year ago, I signed up with Food Connect and started renting and commercializing the brand, so then I could sell it to everyone. And yeah, and we created this small little platform in the shed, and we brew everything from this little platform. And yeah, created the brand, created the logo, everything like that, coordinating it with a team. Of course, it's not just me, a big team that helps me and creates this dream. People who I met through the what I call the speakeasy days, like the days back at the house brewing, and met a lot of people. When you start sharing beer and just giving it away, that type of stuff, it really you find friends and find ways of making dreams happen. And yeah, it's been really good so far. Hard work, but very good, and amazing that I can pull this off so far.
Yeah,
That's kind of the story.
I think the brewing industry is, from the outside anyway, certainly one of the most supportive industries that I've seen. And I imagine that the Food Connect environment would be very similar, where everyone's wanting to make sure everyone's getting the support they need, and everyone's getting a leg up and making progress on the dream they want to get done. So it seems like a really good fit for you being at that Food Connect.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect fit. I was on the waiting list for a year, and yeah, when that happened, it was like, yes, this is gonna work.
Sounds like it's a really good community space you got there. And you were just talking before about traveling around and stuff like that. Did you have an epiphany beer that really got you into craft beer?
Yeah. Yes. I had to think about that question. It wasn't really an epiphany moment where I drank a craft beer and I was like, oh, this is where I want to be. This is what I'm going to do. There were moments traveling to all these different breweries and being a part of that whole atmosphere and the history and that type of stuff that really inspired me. Also the opportunities to like create new flavors and share it with people. So it was a hard question for me to really properly answer that. Like what beer really made me go, let's do this. Yeah, so I don't properly have one. It's more the experiences.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Normally, someone can point at a beer and go, "This is where I first realized that beer wasn't just 3 degree fizzy lager. Like there's something else to beer that I never realized ever in my life." Yeah, mine's the Little Creatures. I've mentioned that quite a few times on the podcast. I had a friend in
Yeah.
Sydney who knew I was into beer, and she rang me and said, "There's this Little Creatures beer thing. I think you should try it. You might like it." So I ended
Yeah.
up chasing some down in Brisbane eventually, because it hadn't really made the trip north. And so that was my
Right.
epiphany beer.
Yeah. Well, that would be a good one for sure, and one that would relate to me a lot as well, because drinking, Rogers and Little Creatures and Matt Kosciuszko and I guess James Squire when that was starting to come out. all that type of stuff. Yeah, it was kind of like when I started going, oh, cool, I'm drinking craft beer, and this is what this might be. So, yeah,
So
good spot.
I've, I've got a dumb question to ask now. You mentioned it a few times that you're legally blind, and that kind of has a range of, I guess, symptoms and effects. What level of sight do you have? And I assume you've had to do a lot of work on modifying processes for making beer with being having your sight affected. Yeah, a lot of readings and looking at things and making sure that things aren't boiling over and all that safety stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So basically, so what I can see, so I'm legally blind. Generally, there's like a number that an ophthalmologist would give you, and generally that means a number that they've given my eyesight is 660. So is an easy way to describe that is what someone sees at 6 meters. No, what someone sees at 60 meters, I need to see at 6 meters. It's very hard for me for this to see detail and sharpness. I can't read anything that's printed. I can read digital words if I use my Zoom software on my computer to zoom up. So using Beersmith as a program I use to create the recipes, yeah, I'm zoomed up a lot on that very busy program. Yeah, so that's probably the best way to describe my eyesight. That I can see, I can't see the details. I can't see facial expressions or different. I can see the sign, but I can't see what's written on the sign. That type of thing. So that kind of gives you a bit of an idea. I can get around without a cane or a guide dog quite well. My eyesight condition is my central vision. So it's my retina that is deteriorating. And it's an eyesight condition I've had since I was 11 years old. And how I've implemented it into my brewery and how I've been able to achieve certain things that seem very unachievable for someone who's legally blind. But for me, it was just like a practice of just going, well, I love brewing beer, let's just work it out, and troubleshooting and going around it and practicing it and doing it back and forward and getting support from people to try and troubleshoot, which is so much just like a brewer. For me, it's like, oh, wow, this is stuff I've learned in my life. I can really implement into my brewing procedures. One thing is troubleshooting. Like so many things pop up and you're like, oh God, now this is happening, now that's happening, you know, how am I going to fix this? Or what am I going to do? What am I going to get? So all of those moments happen for me, just like every other brewer. How I do them, well, I have implemented the certain practices in the brewery that help me do things. So I have a lot of color coding with like gaff tape, different color tapes. I have a lot of big, thick texture written on things, like quite large. I have, I use my phone to use the camera to zoom up on things.
Yeah.
So our Spunden valves, where it's usually a dial, I can either use my phone to read that, or a lot of our dials we've digitized, so it looks like a bit like a Casio watch style setup, which makes it easier to read it with like a camera zoomed up.
Yeah.
I work with the team, I work with people. I always ask, can you read this? Can you read that? We use flow meters to read how much liquid's in the hot liquor tank, for example. Chemicals, well, I have a large scale that I use PAA and I measure it using the scales. So the big right in it on the scales, that's how I kind of get the mils. Yeah, so pretty much the same practices as most breweries, and just little things a bit differently just to help me do what I can do. So
I really like that. And one of the things I noticed when I cracked this beer tonight is it? I know people probably won't be able to see that well, ironically, anyway. Is it you actually have braille on the cans? So for someone like yourself, can go into your brewery and find the beer they're looking for. Really good.
Exactly.
It's such a simple thing to do.
It's a simple thing to do, and for me, like, accessibility's been like the forefront of the brand and the forefront of my life, and the even the actual recipe building, the branding, and then the braille and the cans was something I was like, well, I'd love to do it. Like, no breweries, no can has ever done it. That you can see if you Google it, you know. How am I going to do it? And we tried different ways. We tried all different versions. And this is what we end up coming with those side dots, which are raised tactile dots. And the line says Blind Boy Brewing, and then the type of beer, like, for example, a chai porter. Yeah, and it's really good for people who also haven't experienced someone who's visually impaired or blind, or the experience of feeling braille and trying to understand what does that mean. And I find a lot of people just love that idea of just going, whoa, this is braille, wow, like, let's feel this. And maybe it's a nervous thing where people just play with the dots, but, you know, it's a...
I am sitting here playing with the dots as you speak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's an extra level of relaxation.
Yeah. Which bit of the dots say which letters, or I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so it depends on what you have, but basically the line starts from the bottom of the can up, and the line that's closest to the buoy is the flavor. So yeah, I can see there's the shiny part of, you got the latest lime sour ones. Yeah, the shiny part.
I just realized I'm doing exactly what I did today when I was buying the beers. I made an ass of myself. I transferred the money and then showed you my phone to kind of show you that I'd paid the money up. Held my phone up, and then I thought, Angus, you're an idiot. And I realized I was doing the exact same thing. I'm holding the can up and you're struggling to read it. I'm like, geez, Angus, you've done it again, but publicly this time.
Yeah.
You made an ass of yourself again.
Yeah. Well, that's all good. Yeah, like it's all part of the fun of it too. You know, we're drinking beer and talking about serious thing like disabilities, but I love the fact that Blind Boy Brewing is connected with a fun thing like drinking beer. So, you know, it's all part of the fun. So that's all good.
So moving on to maybe your superpowers. On your website, you mentioned that you feel that some of your other senses are heightened due to your sight. So, are you a real life Matt Murdock?
Yeah. No way. No, I'm myself, with the concept that, and the belief, and the fact that a lot of people say it to me as well. You know, it's just kind of like the fact that when you lose a sense, do you now have heightened senses where you focus on things? That's sometimes true, sometimes not. For me, I guess I drink beer and I think about it, and I think about everything about it, just like every other brewer would do. And if that ends up creating a really good beer with great flavor, well, maybe yes, I am a superhero.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine, and his wife has an exceptional palate. Doesn't like beer, but she'll drink a beer and she's like, "Oh, that tastes like this and this." And my mate Liam and I go, "Actually, that's exactly what it tastes like." And so I think if you've got that, the sense of sight affected, where you then, like, you can't just rely on that easy sense of seeing something, and so then you've got to fall back to your other senses and dial them in a bit harder to try and get get the taste or flavors or whatever it is out of the beer. I think those senses would have to become sharper. I don't know about superhero level, but they would definitely have to become sharper, because you can't rely on your sight as much.
Yeah, like a lot of people, ask me the question, how do I brew beer? And like I guess I can explain how, like I already kind of have, but I don't know how the beer comes out really good. I just do what I do and ends up being really good, and I'm like, this is great. So I just kind of run with it. Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking when you were talking, I was kind of running through one of my brew sessions, and um, I think apart from what the things that you mentioned, like having a large scale and the large dials or the digital dials, or zooming in, I guess there's not too much that requires fine sight. So if you're able to, see where the mash tun is and see where the water's up to, and tip the grain into your mill and crack that, like a lot of that, I don't think would need really fine vision. Just generally being able to see where the pot is or the mill or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I always thought all along when I started getting into brewing. I started going, wow, I can actually do this, because obviously there's a lot of things I can't do being a person who's legally blind. There's so many things I can't do, which is so refreshing that I find something I can do, which is brewing beer. I'm like, yeah, I can see the vessel. I can see what's going on here. I can understand this. And, oh, I can't do that, but how am I going to work out how can I do that? Yeah, it's exactly why I just love brewing beer. It's just adaptable for me, and I can do it.
Yeah, brewing beer is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Almost as good as drinking beer.
Yeah. Well, that's something you can also do when you can't see. You can drink it at least.
Exactly.
So taste is universal, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and people who can't drive, like legally, I can't drive legally. Well, that means you don't have to worry about how drunk you are, and you always can be as drunk as you want. There's nothing stopping you. So
stumbling home, I can't see.
I'm blind. Made a driver for life.
Yeah, it's the benefits of being blind. There's some good benefits.
That's awesome to hear, though. It's really inspiring the steps you are making in the industry, especially. So like how big is your brew kit at the moment?
Yeah, so we're working with a 3-vessel system, 270-liter vessels. So we have 2 600-liter fermenters and 3 1 BBL fermenters. How we do the 600 liters is we do a double brew day. So yes, it's a lot of hard work. And yeah, so that's kind of what we're working with. We also have our own canning machine. So how we can all the beers is all by myself and the team, and we can it straight from the fermenter. And it's a small platform, brewery platform, but it's literally everything's like hand distance away, like from start to finish, from cracking the grain to serving the beer.
It looks like a very, very serious homebrewer setup. Is what it looks like.
Bit of a step up from under your house, I guess.
Yeah. Half of it's from under the house. Because the bar is this wooden bar that we built and created and did everything with it. We just literally grabbed the bar from under the house and put it on the new spot and made it work.
Nice.
Yeah. It is a simple brewery, though. It's only beer, and it's hard to squeeze wines or pots or pint glasses in that small brewery, by the way. So at the moment, we're only serving beer and schooners because it is that type of brewery.
It's pretty small. Yeah. What was the rest of your range? Because you've got the session, got the lime sour. There's a chai porter, which I've got a can in the fridge, and there are a few beers on tap, which I didn't read through the full tap list, but I had a dark ale as well. What other beers you got on tap at the moment?
Yeah, so we got 9 beers on tap, 11 taps. We have our 3 products, lime sour, chai porter, easy access. You tried the dark ale. We have the No Tomorrow, which is an awesome beer that we created. It's an Imperial Black IPA at 11%. That's really good. That's mosaic hops, so very dark forest fruit forward type flavors. We have the Golden Boy, which is our Australian bitter traditional beer. That's really good too, with the traditional Australian hops in there. We have, was that 9 or? Oh, the Japanese lager. So
I love a Japanese lager.
people love our Japanese lager. I know there's a lot of Japanese lagers out there, that's for sure, but it's great hearing people go, "Whoa, I've tried so many Japanese lagers, and yours is the best I've ever tasted." You know, those type of moments is what keeps me going, and it's great that I can hear that.
So a few beers I want to try on Saturday. Then, if I manage to force the family to come to the opening on Saturday, which you also debuting the documentary as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of a chat on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So just through the nice people of the community and just different things, there was someone in the audience who was a videographer for advertising and just was really good at making film footage. And he was like, he wanted to do a documentary on a local brand that had a really interesting story. And he basically offered these services to create this documentary called Brewing Blind, the story of a blind brewer. Get that right. It's only a short doco. It's about 13 minutes long, and it kind of talks about how we started out under the house, how it became a brand, how it was commercialized. It talks about my disability, the struggles and challenges that come from that. Yeah, kind of just how the story comes together. And I've watched it. It's really, really good. Matt Williams did a great job. And we're premiering it on Saturday and the next couple Saturdays after that. So Saturday the 11th of April, Saturday the 18th of April, and Saturday the 25th of April, we'll be playing that doco at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. At the Food Connect shed at the brewery Blind Boy Brewing.
Oh. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've already talked to my wife about on the Saturday, so I won't tell the kids. I'll just make them come. Otherwise, they'll say no.
Yeah, right.
Not another brewery, Dad.
Nah, that ain't gonna vote. It's awesome.
Yeah, and saying that, when I mentioned that we don't have wines on Saturday, the Food Connect shed bar will be open, and they have all your wines and spirits and all the usual stuff. But yeah.
Oh,
who cares about that stuff?
That's really good.
Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I agree with that too, but I was just thinking about your wife or I don't know.
My wife.
I was going to say, you've been open for just about a year. What's next for Blind Boy Brewing? What are your successes or most satisfying during that time as well, and where to?
Yeah, the successes during that time was, I guess, gaining the license to brew beer legally and sell it legally. That was an awesome achievement. Finally getting the beer into cans has been a great achievement. You know, you always think it's just easy. It's just beer in cans. It will just happen. And oh my God, it's been such a journey to get the beer in the cans. That was a great achievement. Getting the beers in different venues in Brisbane, like Saccharomyces in South Brisbane, Netherworld, Club Maruka, Wellers Hill Bowls, Archive. So having the beer on tap, it's just like, wow, this beer is out there in the public now. That's amazing. So yeah, it was those type of achievements that was last year was all about. And opening up our tap room every Friday 2 to 7, and still open every Friday 2 to 7. And then this year, the goals are to open up on a Saturday. Obviously, a lot of people can't come to the brewery only on a Friday 2 to 7, and they want us to be open more. So we're working towards the idea of being open up on Saturday. That's what these events coming up are all about. Kind of trialing the idea and seeing if it works, and if it works for the other tenants there as well. Maybe we can be open up on a Saturday. That's one of the goals for this year. Another goal for this year is I really want to kind of make the claim that Blind Boy Brewing invented or started, or at least have a claim that we created the chai porter. It's a spiced porter beer with all the flavors of chai. cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, star anise, a lot of different other ones. And I just really want this winter to try and get that beer as many places in Brisbane venues as possible. So that's what we're working towards at the moment. Getting it into bottle shops, hoping to have it in 10 bottle shops. And seeing if we can keep up with that demand, because obviously we don't want to branch out too far. We got to keep a real happy medium and play with things before we just end up, going silly.
There's not much space for a bigger brew system there. Like,
no, there's not.
400 liters, 500 liters maybe, but there's not much space there.
Yeah, so we exactly. We are doing the ideas of doing a contract brew, using other breweries to use the space to brew the beer. Therefore, we get more of a yield. Therefore, we can share it to more places. So we are looking at those ideas as well. So then we can branch out a bit further than what we can at the moment. We're a very small brewery. I don't know. Do you know any other breweries as small and as simple as ours? I don't know.
Not unless they're attached to a pub and they're almost using it as a write-off.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So it's a pretty unique brewery.
When I saw your brewery today, I was instantly reminded of Jimmy and Annalise from Maddock. When they started, their brewery was in their garage in the middle of suburbia, and so I'd gone to meet up with them because at the time I was developing a fermentation control system. Wow. And that was before I realized that small breweries have no money. So I'd gone to visit them. I remember parking in the middle of suburbia and looking around going, there's a brewery here somewhere. And they'd shoehorned, I think it was 4 fermenters and a brew system inside just a normal garage. And I got instant flashbacks of when I saw yours. I'm like, God, this reminds me of Jimmy and Annalise's set up in their garage and just so crammed in. There was no space. Everything was within arm's reach, like you were saying. You could touch the fermenters and change pipes and open valves and things. I got instant flashbacks of their setup.
That's good to hear because their story was an inspiration to me too. Going, whoa, they're brewing awesome Belgian beers out of their garage. How can I do that? I've been working towards that idea for a long time, so it's good to know that I've kind of implemented it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they've still got their brew system at the new venue. I said,
I've been to the new venue. That was great going there. It's a big system though, isn't it?
They've got 2 systems. So the original system is their pilot, and they've got the big batch, and their pilot system is somewhere there. Right. I told them that they should build a garage around it, just so everyone got the visual idea of where they started from. This tiny little
chuck it in a Triton.
Yeah, crammed inside a garage, but they didn't want to.
So maybe in the future our goal will get a bit bigger. Because it is quite tight, and it'd be a lot easier if we could do just one single brew and not a double brew. As much as I love brewing, it's still hard work.
I've just moved from a 3 vessel to a single vessel, and originally, I think 3 years back, the point was to start doing double batches, and I've never done a double batch on my 3 vessel system. I got to the point where I'm like, why do I have 3 vessels and like all this pipe work and pumps and everything? I just go back to our real simple single vessel like I used to have. Yeah. Obviously you need a 3 vessel to cram your double batches through within a day.
It's interesting, and I mean I'm here for the ride for Blind Boy Brewing. You know, I'm trying to work my butt off to get this brand to move forward, and it's always moved forward. That's what's kept me going as well. It always kept them moving. It always kept them branching out further and further. So I don't know what the future holds for it, but I'm going to work hard to see where it goes. So
and for you personally, so talking out to other brewers or breweries, what can you recommend that they can do to be a bit more accessible to people like yourself walking into their space?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess I would say just the idea of just taking a moment to think about accessibility, or taking a moment to think about who's entering your brewery. Think about how can certain things be adapted in the brewery, in the workplace, or in the actual like tap room area to help with customers with a variety of different abilities. As everyone knows, we're all individuals. We've got such a variety of different abilities and disabilities and things like that. And I guess the advice I would give is just to take a moment to think about accessibility, or to think about maybe someone could hire that person with a disability, because maybe they can't see. Well, that's true. They can't see, but maybe they can offer so much more, which is dedication, endurance, perseverance.
I was going to say perseverance.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, which is great traits that people with disabilities have, because it is so hard for us to get a job. So hard. And then when an opportunity comes around, well, you go for it, and you hold on and you make it work. So just understanding that concept, that idea, and just giving time for that and understanding. Yeah, that kind of answers that question.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because I do a bit of work at a special school, so I do IT, and especially. So we have a group of kids that do some of the simple stuff for me. So they can. It's amazing what they can do when you give them the chance. Like, we can rip computers apart, or putting computers together, fix computers. So it's there's definitely ways that people with disabilities can be in the workforce and contributing. And making them, I'm sure would definitely, I can't speak for everyone, but definitely make them feel wanted and give them some purpose.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly true. Yeah. Brewing gives me purpose, so it's why I do it. It's obviously not for the money.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of that's the end of the questions that we've got for you. So you're quite welcome to drop off and enjoy the rest of your night, or we have a couple of segments now if you want to stick around. I do an around the world trip each week, and then Caesar's got a brewery he's chosen for a 10-ish questions section. If you want to stick around for that, or if you want to drop off, up to you.
Is that like another 20 minutes or something?
Probably would end up being about 15 more minutes.
Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah, I'm up for sticking around. I'll just keep quiet a bit more.
So just drink some beer.
Yeah, drink some beer. Sounds good.
That's all good. Fantastic.
All right, I'll just bring up my around the world. So around the world this week with Angus. Last week we're in North Korea. So this week we're taking a quick trip across the border to South Korea. And the two countries, even though it's just a short trip across the border, the two countries could not be much more different. The Republic of Korea, as it's formally known, runs under a democratic government. It's a major non-NATO ally of the United States, and is regarded as one of the four Asian dragons. So those being the four countries with the highest income in the Asian region. South Korea has the highest number of military personnel in the world in their conscription-based armies. And where's it gone? I've lost my interesting fact. I'll try and remember. So, interesting fact I learned was that there is a Gangnam district in South Korea, and that's where the song came from, Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
And that was basically a little bit of piss take on people who lived in that Gangnam district and trying to portray their lives as something much more glamorous than what it really was. Something along the lines of living in Hollywood in the US. So there you go, Gangnam Style. What else? I've lost all the breweries from my notes.
It's in your messenger, mate.
Yeah, I'm checking Messenger and they're not in there.
Huh.
Maybe I'll go on my laptop. See, told you it was basement quality.
Absolutely, 100%. While he's doing that, I'll do a bit of news. So, you would have seen in the Basement Quality group, the Hoppers Brewing is closing down. Kind of a very
I didn't know that.
interesting message that went through on the page, which has been taken down. Details are not entirely clear what's going on, and we won't speculate just because we don't want to get in trouble really. End result is another brewery's gone, which just shows how tough the industry is right now. And then Crafty Pint had Dollar Brewing founders are moving on, looking to sell. After doing really well in the AIBAs 21, 22, 23, 25, they've announced they want to wrap up. And then the big thing that got some traction in this week was David Pocock posting about the beer freeze on the excise, or the tax on the excise. While it sounds positive, it is for draft beer at the moment, where the big boys, Kieran and Sahi, have 85% of the taps in Australia. That really means that for smaller and independent breweries, it doesn't help them much because cans, which is where most of their sales come from, or package anyway, isn't covered. So hopefully he can get a better deal for the independent breweries and that sort of stuff. Here's you go, Angus.
I don't know what happened. It's all gone. I've got one of the breweries I was going to talk about. It's called Art Monster, and they're based in Seoul, Korea. They've got an awesome tap list. The other ones I had were, fairly generic pale ales, IPAs, lagers.
So
these guys
go to Korea. Is this what the story is?
No, so I just choose a random country each week and bang on a bit.
Right. You get to try the beers from there?
Sorry?
You get to try some of the beers, or?
No, so I haven't traveled to Korea. I just choose a random country and talk about it each week.
Right.
And try and find some craft breweries.
Maybe we should challenge you to find the beers when you talk about them, Angus.
Well, I would like to try some of these beers. So this Art Monster brewery is based in Seoul, Korea. And I'll just read through their standard beer list. So they have a Vienna Lager, Czech Dark Lager, German Hef, hazy IPA, nothing kind of unusual there, I guess. Belgian Strong Ale, German Pilsner. So this is their standard beer list, right? There's not the specialties or anything. Wit beer, blueberry sour, and I don't know. They must employ a particular person to enter beer awards, because each of their beers has like 15 or 20 awards kind of around the world in the past 4 or 5 years. So Asian Beer Championships, UK World Beer, Japan International Beer Awards. Like, they might just have a person that sends beer to awards and manages that whole thing for them.
Yeah, that's a lot of awards.
Yeah, that's a bugger. Yeah, that's a brewery I found. The other two, there's another one which had a really good sour beer list, but I can't find them. So let's move on to the 10-ish questions, and that will probably wrap it up after that. So maybe if you want to ask the first question, Jacob. So Caesar has a brewery in mind, and we've got 10 questions to try and guess what the brewery is.
Right. Okay. Right. Huh. That's gonna be tricky.
So easy questions are: what country is it located in, or what beer are they famous for a certain beer? That generally kind of narrows it down pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what country would the brewery be in?
Well, we are looking at Belgium this week.
Belgium. That does not narrow it down really. I mean, it does, but it doesn't make it any easier.
Does it have? Is it a beer that has fruit in it?
The beer itself is very Belgium-y style. Is what their style they're famous for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which has a fruited beer in it, like
It's
a
like
cherry beer.
so their blonde ale is their most well renowned one.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a Trappist brewery?
I don't think so. No.
So that rules out 4 breweries. Bugger.
Is it in what part of Belgium? Is it the southern part or Flemish part or?
Flemish.
Flemish or down south?
Yep. Yep.
Near the French border.
Yep.
Are they more known for non-sour beers, I guess? Standard ferments.
Burgers they call it. So they are actually quite well known for a piece of equipment.
Piece of equipment. Belgium. It's an interesting clue.
You mean like open fermentation, that type of thing?
No, it's called the pipeline.
I've no idea who the brewery is, but I've got a feeling that they run beer into the town through pipes from the brewery, so they don't deliver kegs or anything. Is that right, Caesar?
Similar. They run from the brewery out to a bottling plant outside the town. So it's a 3.276 meter long pipeline.
Jeez.
It very poignant because the name implies some big world international event that's going on at the moment around that.
I don't know.
Possibly in space.
Oh, man.
I can't even think of the name of that the space program or the ship name they're up in there.
Yeah. Well, I was more thinking about the celestial object. Jimmy at least will be yelling at the screen right now.
Yeah, that would be.
Well,
I'm sure like we always say, there's plenty of people yelling at the screen.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's all right. It's a little bit of a weird one. I can tell you if you in the interest of keeping things moving.
Yeah, I'm a bit stuck.
Yeah.
So it's called the Half Moon, which is the English is the Half Moon. So beer brewery in Burgess, Belgium.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they do. They're like a strong Henry, and the Burgess Full. So it's like a Belgian blonde. So yeah, and so 2016 they completed the pipeline, so they didn't have to send trucks through the town to.
Yeah, right. Cool. How long did you say the pipeline was?
3.276 meters long, 2 miles.
Right. Yeah. Wow. In underground, insulated.
Under the town.
Straight under the town. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Those crazy Belgians.
Apparently, the pipeline was partially crowdsourced, and the people that contributed get free beer from the brewery. So, something for people to think about.
Wow. That's the sort of crowdfunding I can get involved in. A, it's a pretty awesome project, and B, you get beer out of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's all good.
Yeah, it's like those moments you see around Brisbane when the fire hydrant's just squirting water out. I'm just thinking, imagine what happened with the beer pipe.
Well, there's always the rumor. It used to be the rumor that there was a pipeline from the Forex Brewery to Suncorp Though I've seen kegs go in and out, so I'm pretty sure that's not the case. So
Yeah, right.
Be nice though.
Yeah, straight under the cemetery.
Nice.
Cool.
Alrighty, well, I think we've just kicked over an hour, so thanks for your time, Jacob. And
that's all
like I
right.
said,
Thank you so
I'm
much.
gonna try and force my family to get to the launch on the Saturday. I'm really excited to watch the doco. I think that'll be cool.
Cool. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, thanks, Caesar. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob.
See everyone next week.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Bye.
See ya.